Lunacy by Joe Fiore. It's madness.
I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 Hello and welcome to Lunch Therapy. I'm your host Joel Marshall. It's Interview Friday. Interview Friday, we interview someone fantastic, and we've got a great guest today. We've got Michelle Danner, acting coach to the stars, as they say, but also an amazing director, incredible actor, and just somebody that you're going to really like. She runs an acting program in the Los Angeles area, and I wanted to also tell you about this new site that I created for the community here. It's called yourmovielist.com. You can go on there and keep track of the movies that you've watched. It's an interactive community that's just building right now. But if you go over to yourmovielist.com and create an account, I know that Claster fan here did. Holy Claster fan. Holy Howard Aronin. Great to see you all here. Kamala. Yeah, we've got a really good guest today. I'm really excited. So much to talk about. So let's get into this thing. This is called Lunch Therapy Interview Friday. All right, Todd is here. Todd Lee is here. Happy Friday. You are going to love the guest today, Todd. She's going to teach you how to act finally. How to act in society. Hoy, Bloss is here. Good to see you. These are my Patreons down below. Support the show. This is how we do independent media these days, is we fund it through our crowdfunding. People that support the show, just invaluable to this kind of a program. So I really thank you all for signing up. You can go to patreon.com/Joel Marshall and you can sign up to be a Patreon. We really appreciate your support. And now we breathe. Todd's got his notebook ready. How to act in society. Yeah, we're going to teach you how to act because you've been acting out quite a bit. Healing vibrations behind me. We're going to take 3 deep breaths because this is a really good thing to do anytime. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. One of the great things about Michelle is that she teaches a lot of acting techniques. So you can pick and choose what's good for you. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. And she has trained with a lot of these people. Hagen, Stella, Adler, Herbert Berghoff, some of the greats. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Hoy, Neil Phillip is here. Great to see you. There's a certain orange clown that could use an acting intensive. Yes. Somebody needs to learn how to act. One more time, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. And let it go. Sending big hugs. Vibe Tribe, Healing Vibrations. We thank them for helping us calm our nervous systems. All right. Now that we are calm, we're going to talk to Michelle here And let me just get this going. All right, so Michelle Danner is a powerhouse acting teacher here in Los Angeles. She was born in New York, raised in Paris. Her father ran the first William Morris agency office in Europe. By age 5, she was already performing, doing impressions of Alfred Hitchcock, Ed Sullivan, Judy Garland at her father's dinner parties, which I imagine were filled with all kinds of actors and performers and agents. She was tap dancing on the coffee table for a room full of agents. At 15, she returned to New York and dove headfirst into the craft of acting, studying with some of the most legendary acting teachers of the 20th century, Stella Adler, Uta Hagen, Herbert Berghoff. Rather than just choosing one single method, she absorbed all of these methods, and that became the foundation of her life's work. She went on to found the Los Angeles Acting Conservatory and raise $1.3 million to build the Creative Center for the Arts and develop her signature golden box method, which is, we'll have her explain that. I'm not going to explain that. It's a philosophy that every actor builds their own toolkit from the best of every technique. She's coached Henry Cavill, Salma Hayek, Penelope Cruz, Gerard Butler, Chris Rock, and many more. And she's also this incredible director. She's directed movies, How to Go on a Date in Queens, Hello Herman, which is a drama about bullying, The Runner, which is a drug war story, the Italian-American family comedy, The Italians, which is out now. You can check it out. It's really funny and fun, and she's in it. And also this film called Miranda's Victim, which is the true story of the woman behind the Miranda rights. That is a compelling story, let me tell you. All right, let's get into this thing. This is Lunch Therapy. Let's just see what the comments are. I danced on a table for a bunch of so-called agents. Funny, they never called me back. Kamala says, that's amazing. All right, let's get into this thing. Interview Friday.
Danner. I have developed a technique called the golden box that is taught at the studio, where artists can draw upon all different teachings: Adler, Meisner, Strasberg, Hagen, Chekhov, and Stanislavsky. Every actor is unique, and so it's important when they script analyze and build a character, whether it be for film, television, or stage, that they find concepts, tools that specifically work for them. Our philosophy is when it comes to the craft of acting, every artist should form a toolbox, their very own golden box. I'm looking forward to talking to you about it when I see you.
Oh, you'll be seeing us. Seeing us. Woo. All right, Michelle, great to have you here. Welcome to Lunch Therapy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing
Thank
great.
you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's really terrific. I've been learning about your work and watching some of your films. Just really blown away by the work that you're doing. I want to go back to what we were talking about the dancing on the tables. Can you explain to us a little bit about what it was like to be the daughter of an agent, William Morris agent, nonetheless?
Yes, my father, I remember, used to tell us that, he was a producer, that it was an art form to produce, that it was actually, he didn't see it as being just a business job. He saw it as being an artistic job as well. And so that always stuck with me. He was, and so at a very young age, I think I was exposed. He loved artists, and my dad was very, astrologically, he was a Libra. So he had just finished doing a rom-com about astrology. So I always ask people, what's your astrological sign? But he was a huge people person. There was never a time that he didn't sit on a plane and he didn't befriend the person next to him and got their business card and kept in touch. He was a very big, he's very social, much more social than I am, actually. And then people really loved him. He was very loved, and he was with the William Morris for 10 years. He opened the very first offices in Paris. As a matter of fact, I was there last year, and I stood in the Rue Marbeuf, which is where he opened it, and I remember thinking, well, that's where I was, like a little girl, while all these big, performers would come in and talk about their vision boards. And I think that certainly probably, affected me in terms of wanting to be an artist.
They made vision boards?
Um, well, they talked about their
Yeah.
vision board. They talked about what their vision board was going to be. But it was really, and then they would come to the house on the weekends. And I
Hmm.
particularly remember a famous Brazilian singer called Eliana Pittman, who is still alive and performing. Actually, I looked her up the other day, and she went into the kitchen and she cooked the paella, and she like grabbed everything she could in the kitchen. And there was a piano, and they started to play music and sing songs and tell stories and eat paella. And I thought, wow, this is a fun bunch of people. I want to be an artist.
So that's what made you want to be an artist. So,
One of the things. In addition to having the chip, I must have had the chip, the genes.
yeah, you must have. So, when did you move to New York? New York?
I moved to New York when I was 15, and my dad had work in New York City, so he picked up the family, and I'm the oldest of four girls, so I have three sisters. And we moved back to the city, and I started to study with Stella Adler, and I studied with Uta Hagen and Herbert Bergdorf, which I heard you say. You were
Yeah.
right about all those people in the intro. An acting teacher that is no longer, Stephen Strimpel, Larry Moss. I I was really very fascinated by what it took to create a character, a great performance. And to that end, I think I was just a sponge, absorbing everything I could absorb. And I remember going to do a scene for Uda's class, and I was in the subway, and I had these crutches. I was doing a scene from the movie Julia
Hmm.
with Vanessa Redgrave and Jane Fonda, and I had the crutches and the fur coat, and it was like hot. It was hot in New York City. And I remember thinking, and I had all this bag of props, and I remember thinking, well, this is what it's like to pay your dues, logging all this stuff across New York City. But those were the days, those were the days of Studio 54 and Club A. As a matter of fact, there was a gym called the Vertical Club on 61st Street, which is now is Equinox.
Mm.
And so when I go to New York, I go, and they have a pool and they have a whirlpool. And it's so sense memory because I remember all the things that happened in that whirlpool. I mean, not all the things,
Yeah.
but the conversations. And there was a place at the time. The Vertical Club was a place where people would find dates and invite them to go out. And, it was the 80s.
What was it
Um,
like working
so
with Uta Hagen? Did you mentioned that you brought a lot of props and a lot of set to the class? Can you tell us about that?
she was incredible. She really was taught technique to the core to really understand what it's like to have a toolbox and make choices based on the moment before, based on the fourth wall. I mean, the actors that are listening, which I'm sure you have a big demographic of actors that are
Hmm.
listening,
For sure.
would understand, how to place objects on the fourth wall, destinations. I do in my classes entrance exit exercises where people enter coming from somewhere, going somewhere, dealing with an obstacle, and then, giving themselves the want and the place and all of the sensory. I mean, they're great technique builders. I remember Cynthia Nixon was in Uta Hagen's class,
Mm.
and I watched her do one of those exercises, if I remember correctly, because of course now it's decades ago.
Yeah.
And people, it really builds your technique.
Did you study with Stephen Strimpel?
I did, and I
Sounds
loved him. I
familiar.
thought he was a great teacher. He taught at HB Studios,
Hmm.
which at the time, it was on Bank Street. I think it was 120 Bank Street. The classes were $5 a class.
You're kidding. Wow.
And so, yeah, because
Nice.
they didn't pay rent, I think that was the story. And it was $5 a class. And William Hickey was teaching, and Karen Rosenfeld. I remember all those teachers that were teaching there. I think it's still there. Actually, it makes me want to look it up now and see. I'm sure it's still there.
I
It's a
think so too.
legacy that was left by Herbert Bergdorf and Uta Hagen. So yes, she was great, and Steven Strimpell was great. And then he left HB and then he went on his own. He taught in the 40s, and I went to study with him there, and he's no longer with us. But he was a really wonderful teacher. I mean, that's the legacy of teachers. They impact whatever the generation is there, whether it's the younger generation or the older generation. They impact several generations of artists, and it stays with you. You know,
Yeah. When did you study with Stella Adler?
I studied with Stella Adler when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, for many years. She taught a class called script interpretation. She also taught scene study. She would break down three writers a semester, I think. And there's books that document those lectures. Strasberg, Chekhov, Eugene O'Neill, Tennessee Williams, Arthur Miller. And really, she was Ibsen. She's the queen of script analysis. As a matter of fact, I remember one day I wanted to do a script analysis class on Enemy of the People, Ibsen's, and I had asked at the time, this was this was about 15 years ago. I asked someone to go to all of the libraries in town to get me everything that had been script analyzed about the play Enemy of the People, which now has had a revival since in London. I went to see it in London with Matt Smith a few years ago, and then I went back and I read Stella's book, and I thought to myself, she was the queen of script analysis. There was nothing as powerful as the words that she wrote and how she broke it down and how she taught actors how to think about making choices.
You also teach Michael Chekhov. What is that method like?
That has to do the thing that really stuck with me in terms of how Michael Chekhov taught is how to use your body, how to use your physicality, how to speak psychologically with your body. And when it comes to that, I always say, Meryl Streep, who a few nights ago looked incredible on Colbert, because she's promoting The Devil Wears Prada, which I'm so looking forward to seeing because she's in it. To really oh, I lost my train of thought. I went to The Devil
We were
Wears Prada.
talking about Michael Chekhov.
Yes, Meryl Streep knows how to speak psychologically with her body. Now, when I teach a room full of young actors and I ask people, have you seen Sophie's Choice? A lot of people have not seen it. So, partly it's the responsibility of a teacher to pass it down to this,
Yeah.
younger generation and tell them you have to watch Sophie's Choice. You have to watch Meryl Streep. You have to watch her do psychological gestures when she's lying and evading the question about her father, how she covers her eye. She's covering the truth. So this idea that's what Michael Chekhov taught, how to speak with your body and how to make the audience understand what the subtext, what is not being revealed, the inner life, the shadow of the character.
I love that.
It's a powerful technique. And he was, I believe, in Beverly Hills in the 50s and did a series of lectures as well, teaching. Yeah.
Can you explain what a psychological gesture is?
It's a physicality. It's something that you do with your body that reveals to an audience what maybe is not being said in the moment, but what is being felt, what is being conveyed. An emotion, how do you always say that there's an elephant in the room, something that's not being said, something that you hang on, that you don't do physically, but you convey it,
How do you
with your body in
find
a
that?
psychological way.
How do you find that?
Through your understanding of who the person is, your understanding of who the character is, your understanding of the circumstances, the event through rehearsal. You try different things physically, and at some point something, hits you, and that sticks. And you go, oh, this is a great way to reveal something about this character in this moment. And then, of course, when you find it in rehearsal, you have to find a way to bring it back, organically, so it's not manufactured forever. If you're shooting it or if you're doing a play, I remember Brian Dennehy did Death of a Salesman, and he found a great psychological gesture for Willie Loman. As a matter of fact, I really would like to go see Nathan Lane do it now on Broadway. Uh, you know, it's something that you convey that is powerful, that is emotional, that is spiritual, that is psychological about what is going on with the character in that moment that maybe is not being said, but is being felt very deeply.
I love the fact that you study different techniques and you don't exclude, because some people get so connected to one technique that they miss things like you're saying, like physicality or creating an environment, or, you know, because they're just hyper focused. And sometimes people get, it's like their team that they root for, you know, like, but as an actor, if you study many different methods, you find what works for you, and what works for you doesn't necessarily work for somebody else, or might work for you in this project, but not in another.
But that's exactly what I teach. That's what I say. That's right. You find what works for you, and it could work for you in that given time in your life, in that movie. But then when you're doing a TV show next month, it'll be something different, or you're doing a play. And so you have to constantly be in process, in discovery. You're constantly learning about yourself, learning about the character that you're playing for however, long you're playing. You're inhabiting it. I like to say you inhabit the flame of the character. So it's a constant journey of discovery.
I saw a movie of yours that I think is amazing. I want to play the trailer from that. It's called Miranda's Victim.
Great.
Mr. Miranda, a girl was grabbed on 7th Street on Saturday night, right around the same time that you got out of work. Can you describe the man?
Number one looks like him.
Tell me everything, and don't leave anything out.
I'm testifying. Are you sure about this?
All rise.
I don't want to see you become damaged goods. It's not just for me.
The prosecution calls Patricia Ann Shumway.
What about the next girl?
Promise I'm gonna put this guy in jail for a long time.
The jury has found you guilty as charged.
Hello, Ernest. John Flynn.
Can you get me out of here?
I believe I can.
Aren't you gonna ask me if I'm guilty?
I'm far more interested why you signed that confession.
I know what you're trying to do. A man's as guilty as sin.
The issue is whether this defendant's confession should have been allowed in evidence.
It was coercion, plain and simple.
There was not an attorney present.
Don't make him the face of your crusade. What about Miranda's victim?
I really don't care.
Objection, Your Honor.
Your Honor, you must stop this! You must stop this now!
The cases before us raise questions.
What if they say he's not guilty?
The Supreme Court might make us retry him.
The whole world wants nothing but to take from us.
Miranda did not request counsel, therefore, we reverse.
And being locked away is the only thing that lets me sleep at night.
It's just so hard to have to keep reliving this over and over. She's worked so hard. She's doing what's right.
Mr. Miranda, our justice system has afforded you every privilege, every protection.
Hey!
This is a courtesy not extended to your victim.
Wow, that's a powerful movie. Can you tell us a little bit about how this movie came about?
Yes, I have always had a fascination with crime stories. When George Culber, who was the one that really found the story, the reason why it had never been told is because the person that it happened to, Patricia Weir, had never told it. So 60 years later, she decided to tell the true story of what happened. And I remember the movie that I shot before Miranda's Victim, it was called The Runner.
Yeah.
And that movie, the first scene was you have the right to remain silent, you have the right to, I never questioned, why do people say that? Where did that come from? Mm-hmm. And so this movie tells you how the Miranda rights came about, and there had been no other movie, documentary, series that had really laid it out. So when it came to me, I was like, oh my, this had never been told. This story, how come this story has never been told? And so, like I said, George found it, and I met with him, and he asked me to direct it. And I got this fabulous cast to be in it. And we shot it in New Jersey. We shot it on film, and I had the honor of working with Donald Sutherland,
Yeah.
who was one of the first persons that said yes. And actually, since we talked about my father at the beginning of this, Donald always reminded me of my father, and he was my mother's favorite actor ever of all time.
Wow.
So I have on my desk a series of beautiful emails that Donald has written to me, and I really get along with him really well. And he did an incredible job. I mean, talk
He
about
really
a man
did.
who cared so much. And it was his, Miranda's Victim was his last feature film. But then I had Abigail Breslin, who, played the central
She's
role,
amazing.
who was great.
Yeah. Where did you
She's
find her?
amazing in it. She was my first choice. A lot of the actors that ended up saying yes were my first choice. She was my first choice. So was Andy Garcia, who I ended up doing another movie after I went to Italy to do another movie with him. So was Kyle MacLachlan. So was Ryan Felipe, Luke Wilson, all of these actors, Mireille Enos. I had watched a show called The Killing with Brent Sexton and Mireille Enos, and both of them, I find myself in New Jersey having dinner with them the night before we're starting to shoot. And I'm looking at my right, and there's, Mireille, and my left is Brent, and I'm like, wow, these incredible actors. Enrique Murciano, I have a huge history with him. I adore him. He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
He's
really
one of my
something.
first students.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was one of my first students. Yes, I have decades of history with Enrique. He said I was the acting teacher that impacted him the most.
I think he's fantastic.
So I'm sure I'm going to work with.
I
he
loved
is
him in
fantastic. I'm gonna work-
Bloodline as well.
Great.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's really great.
And then the smaller parts like Nolan Gold came to, really
It's
Sebastian.
packed with great actors, this movie.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes, it was a very good experience, and I'm really happy that I was able to tell the story.
Wow. So these days, they talk about Hollywood having a really rough time making movies and that there isn't as much work. But yet you're making all these great films. What is your secret to be being a movie producer?
It's hard for me too. I mean, I know people think it's easy. It isn't. I have made 5 movies in 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm in the editing room for the last one that I did, and I'm prepping to do another one. It's just not easy, and you have moments where you feel discouraged, and it's hard because a lot of people say no, and you have to be able to tolerate 100 people saying no to you for the one yes that's about to happen. But you have to every morning get up and put one foot in front of the other and just keep going. And if the vision of the story you want to tell is strong enough, I think that's the key, then chances are it's going to happen. But there has to be a strong vision. There has to be a reason why somebody wants to tell the story.
Do you have a philosophy for how you treat the set? Like what it's like on your set?
My sets are very, for lack of a better word, zen. They're very low key, and it's all about the work. It's very harmonious. I joke that if we could light candles, which you can't because it's a fire hazard, but if you could light candles and put flowers everywhere and play classical music, that's what it would be. I'm very calm on set. I don't like yelling. If anybody is very agitated around me, it doesn't work for me, for my nervous system. Everything is just really harmonious. And I think that every actor has said that this is conducive to them. Creating that kind of an environment is conducive to them taking risks. It's conducive to them feeling safe so they can try things. They can play.
Do you
ultimately
shoot
what they
in a
signed up
short
for.
period of time usually? Like for the Italians?
Well, I mean, I make
for instance?
I make independent movies. The Italians was a great experience. That was just a great experience. We shot, I mean, it was a different budget than Miranda's Victim. That was much bigger budget. We did it on film. The Italians was really an indie budget. But we had everything that we needed. We found this incredible house. I'm still texting with the owner of the house. It's so nice when you are able to shoot in a house that you can still be friends with the person afterwards. Because
No kidding.
it's a very, very nice lady. And the house was a character. You know, if you find the right house, the right location, the locations become characters in your movies. And so we found the right house in the Italians. And of course, I reached out, and it was my first choice, to a dear friend of mine that I've worked with a lot throughout the years, which is Rob Estes. And Rob and I did a run of a play in Hollywood at the Hudson Theater called The Rose Tattoo by Tennessee Williams. At the time, he was on Melrose Place. I think it was Melrose, yeah. And so everybody from Melrose Place came to see it. It ran for almost a year. We had 21 people and a goat on stage.
You won an
And
award for that,
we built that.
right?
We all won. He won, I won, we won awards. People loved the play. People came back to see it. The Rose Tattoo by Tennessee Williams is one of his most joyous plays. And it had not been performed in Hollywood for like 18 years at the time. And Deborah Levine, who I'm very close friends, who I adore, Deborah Levine,
Of course.
has directed a lot of things. And so she directed it, a lot of things. And she did a great job. And we just had, such a good, creative, fulfilling. Rob and I would rehearse literally at the studio until, the wee hours of the morning, till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We worked so hard on that play. And so the work on the Italians, so years later, here we are looking in each other's eyes and doing the Italians together. And we're still promoting it. As a matter of fact, him and I are going to do a TV interview. We went on Kate, we've been promoting it a lot because you have to nurture
really
independent film. Thank you. It's the only way to do it is to nurture.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lainey Kazan, if we can talk about Lainey Kazan. Abigail Breslin is in it. Perry Reeves, David DeLuise. I've asked David DeLuise actually to come and do a part in this last movie that I did. And Rob is in it too. And Rob came to Italy to do the movie that I did with Tony Collette and Eddie Garcia. I like working, I believe in this theater company on film. And so I like working with the same actors over and over again. But of course, I also like to work with new actors. So both. But Rob and I did this really fun, play that led us to have this chemistry together, and we took it into the Italians. So yeah, the Italians is everywhere. You can see it on all the platforms. It just released recently in the UK. I was there promoting it in London, and it's in Greece, it's in Australia. It's not everywhere, and it's about to be in Germany and Japan. We're going to be releasing it there. Oh, great.
Be here at 6. Antipasto con burrata, minestrone, focaccia, tiramisu for dessert, and your favorite, meatballs. Just put some pants on and get over here.
I can't find my pants.
I look okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. Hi, Mom. This is my girlfriend, Lily.
Hi.
Angela and I grew up in Little Italy.
We lived across the street from each other.
So what do you do at the Playhouse?
I'm an actress.
How long did you say you were seeing her?
I don't remember exactly.
The eggplant looks absolutely delicious.
What about the meatballs?
Oh, I don't eat meat.
You don't? What are you, some kind of vegetarian?
The food's getting cold. Let's eat.
I'm sorry, okay? This is all my fault. All right, my mom has these crazy Italian standards.
Give her a chance.
Oh, please, you just want to eat the meatballs before...
Yeah, well, that too.
Well, we've been seeing each other for about 9 months.
9 months?
I actually don't go to church.
She's not Italian, okay? She doesn't want children. And now she insults my cooking.
And I love her anyway.
Your mom wants me to disappear.
Talk about the rough first impression.
You don't know the half of it.
So what exactly happens at that dinner?
If you thought the first one was bad, whoo.
I want to set him up with Gina.
Crazy Gina.
She's Catholic. She's Italian. She's single.
Gina, what are you doing here?
Your mom invited me.
Mom?
What are you doing here?
I thought I was invited to dinner.
Rimbambita!
Chill, what a surprise.
We'll have dinner, then we'll mom right into the closet after dessert, okay?
This pot roast tastes delightful.
All three of you need to look in the mirror. Learn to commit.
Look me in the eyes and say that you love me.
Learn to accept.
I want a divorce.
Right. Learn to atone.
Mom put you up to this? Your mother is not talking to me.
Call the cops!
You need to see her again. How about we go over there for dinner?
They hate her meatballs. We all mess up.
I love her, Mom.
I still don't want kids.
Ever?
Everyone cool it!
I also might have resorted to violence at one point.
All right, get out!
Oh my God! Angelina, bring me some popcorn.
Can you tell me a little bit about your process for rehearsal for these kind of films?
Well, for the Italian, so the last card, to spoil it, the last card of the movie that comes up after the end is for my mother, Loredana. So my mom was born in Milano. Mm-hmm. She's no longer with us. So when I was shooting this movie, she wasn't with us. But I conjured her. And in that, she was an inspiration.
Yeah.
I have 2 kids. I want to think that if one of my kids would bring home somebody that I don't like, I would act differently. I probably would, because I don't think I was playing myself. But I was definitely tapping into some of my mom, my grandmother, my sister was a compilation of all of these people in my life. So that was one way that I prepared for it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you play a character, I call it a glove. You slip into a glove because you go, I just know how to play this character. And sometimes it's more difficult. The character's a little further, and that's why you have to, build backstory and write a little journal, write the novel for your character. But this came very easily. I had a great cast, as you can tell. Yeah. As a matter of fact, we had a rehearsal at one point. Abigail was there. Matthew Daddario, who's the lead in my next movie, by the way, Starstruck. Matthew and Rob was there. And I looked at all of them, and I had so much love and gratitude for them because they were so generous. And I thought to myself, there's nothing better than doing this exercise with this wonderfully generous group of actors. I can't tell you, great experience.
How long was the shooting process?
18 days. We did 18 days, so it was 3 weeks. It was one of those. I mean, it's hard. 60 weeks are hard. But you're all in.
Did you rehearse with the actors before you started shooting?
I rehearsed with Rob a little bit, yes. Mm-hmm. The 2 of us rehearsed. We met and talked about the character and the marriage, and we were very specific about it. I rehearsed with Matthew a little bit and Abigail. Yes, the answer is yes.
And when you went to Italy, was that inspired by this movie? When you went to Italy to shoot Under the Stars?
Yeah, so they came to me with a script and they were, do you want to go shoot in Puglia? That's how they had me at Puglia, because you have to know that as I grew up in Europe, my whole childhood ad nauseum, I kept hearing, Puglia is so beautiful, Puglia, the beaches, Puglia, Puglia, Puglia. And I was like, I had never been to Puglia. So when they said, we have a movie for you to shoot in Puglia, I was like, oh, okay, I'm in. And so I asked Andy if he wanted to come do it with me, Andy Garcia. He said yes. And then there was Alex Pettifer and Eva Di Domenici, who's wonderful, and an actor that I've known for many years, Vincent Riota was in it, and Rob. I asked Rob to come. And who else was?
Toni
it
Collette?
was also fun. Toni Collette, yes.
What's it like working with her? She's so amazing.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She's just amazing. Yes, she's amazing. She's an amazing actress.
Can you give us an insight into her process?
Well, she commits fully, 100%. I had a front seat to her process, and she really goes for it. She goes for it. She makes choices, bold choices. That's what it is. Nothing's wishy-washy. Nothing is half-ass. everything is, I'm going for it.
I love that. We got a question from one of our viewers. How do you go about raising money for your films?
Well, I wish that I could write the book on it because it's really difficult. It's hard. I don't know what to tell you. Right now I'm struggling. But you know what I also know is this. There's an interview on Robert Redford talking about raising money for ordinary people, and it was hard for him. And I
Really?
remember thinking at the time watching that interview, I'm like, what? It's hard for Robert Redford? What? I think it's not easy. You have to be passionate about what you're doing and inspire people to do it, and leave yourself open to being rejected, to hear many, many, many no's until you hear a yes.
Yeah.
So, you go to people that you think would be interested in funding the movie that you're working on. Right now I'm working on a sci-fi, a
That's
space
what I want to
movie.
hear. Helios. Tell us about this.
Helios, yeah, and we're talking to people. It's not easy, but people are passionate about it. I went to London. I toured some because it looks like we might shoot in the UK. So I went to look at some studios there, including Pinewood, the legendary Pinewood studio where they did Star Wars and all the James Bond movies, and they have this huge water tank with the cameras in the walls, and then we met with somebody who, said, well, people are fascinated by space. Obviously, look at what happened yesterday with Launch to the Moon and Project Hail Mary that came out, and people are fascinated about this. And there's people that are fascinated about space that have all this money, they don't know what to do with it. Well, I want to meet those people. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. And it's not easy, but, people that want to support this project, yeah.
I heard there was some rumor about Blue Origin being involved in this in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we have an authentic astronaut, Sharon Hagel. Space Kids is one of our sponsors, and she's in it. She has a part. She has a cameo in it.
You seem to do a lot of
She's
different
gone to
genres.
space. I'm interested in different genres. One year, many years ago at the Cannes Film Festival, we had a great conversation with Ang Lee. It was the year that The Life of Pi came out.
Yeah.
And I've always admired Ang Lee because he was always attracted to the different genres.
So true.
And I thought, well, why, yes, a lot of directors, they brand themselves with one genre. And so they're known for horror, or they're known for action, or, they're known for a certain genre. But I am very eclectic in my tastes. So I am fascinated, even in my watching. I always watch different genres of movie. I don't just pivot to one.
Do you go to film markets? Is that a helpful thing to find financing?
I do. We go to AFM, and it's very exhausting. And as a matter of fact, we're gearing up to go to Cannes. I also try and watch a lot of movies in Cannes. So it's both doing the business meetings, and then the moment you're done with all the business meetings, you run to go see a screening.
Cannes is
because
such an
that's what
amazing
fuels
experience, isn't it? I mean, it's just such a great experience all around.
it is, and we're going again this year, and it's you need a vacation after that.
You
because
do. It's exhausting.
what I like to call it heavy lifting. Yes.
Are there a lot of phonies in that environment when you go to film markets? Like, how do you suss out who's real and who's not?
Well, I mean, people, I don't do it like that because I think that everything is valuable. Every person that you meet is valuable. There are people that are somewhere in their careers where they have access to different things that other people don't. People are trying to find a way to break through, but you never know who's going to lead you where. So I stay open. I don't judge and go, this person, is an up and coming person, so therefore I'm not going to spend time talking to them. I don't do that. I talk to everybody, and I stay fairly open.
I think that's good. I just have noticed sometimes in those markets, there are people that kind of make their living from that. But you know what I mean? Like, they get investment money and then they just travel around the world to different markets.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay.
And independent filmmakers have to be careful that other people don't charge them huge fees, and they never get to make their money back and pay back their investors. Yeah.
So, how can somebody that wants to get involved in your acting school, how can they get involved? What is the would they learn from you, or do you have other teachers? Can you tell us about your acting studio?
Yes. So I have the Los Angeles Acting Conservatory, which is programs. There are 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year programs in acting and filmmaking. I have a great faculty of teachers. People love our teachers every time. I mean, I teach master classes there. I teach the Golden Box, and I teach breaking into the industry, and I teach script analysis, and I'll do some special master classes on camera and scene study. We have all kinds of classes, and we focus on the Meisner, the Stanislavsky, the Stella Adler technique. There's some, I'm really happy, and every time I sit down with students to check in with them and see how they're doing, they feel so fulfilled. They feel that not only they're getting a great foundation, a great education in the craft, but also they're exposed to great teachers, and they have a community of other, kindred spirits around.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy. There's the Michelle Danner Acting Studio, the Los Angeles Acting Conservatory. We're on spring break currently. So if you drive from west to east, there's a mural artist that has painting. You can't spell heart without art. And the other side, you can't make art without heart. And those, I think, are the core of the philosophy of our studio.
And do you have online classes too?
We do. We have online classes. Of course, they start. No, you know what? They did not start from COVID. We had online classes before COVID because we always had a reach internationally. And so people have signed on to do, I teach an online class, Break Into the Industry, every 3 months, and it's very full. We have them in Spanish. We have coachings on Zoom. So we have a lot of things online as well.
Do you set coach as well?
I used to. I don't anymore. It's difficult. If I have time, I want to reserve it for master classes for teaching. I just came back from London. I taught on camera, 3 on camera classes with some wonderful English actors and actors from all over Europe. And I'm going to be doing a class next week in Honolulu, and then I'm going to be teaching in Rome in July. I'm waiting to see about teaching in Hamburg in Germany. I love teaching internationally, and I speak 5 languages. I speak French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese. So when I go into different countries, I've taught in France, in Paris.
You have
in
an
French.
amazing amount of energy, it seems. What is your secret to that?
I don't know. Well, I do a lot of things. I take, lately I'm taking a shake with creatine. They say it's very good for the muscles.
Yeah.
And collagen and colostrum. They say that's really good. I'll do all kinds of things. I mean, I think at my age, it's important you stay on the horse. Mostly I want to stay on it because I want to see what my kids are going to be doing.
Your kid's
So
a
that's really
director as well, right?
Yes, I work with my oldest son, who's 23, who graduated from USC. He studied film and theater.
Wow.
He's a passionate filmmaker. He's going to direct this year his first feature film, which I will be there because he was there for me. In Miranda's Victim, as we had a big budget and a lot of great people part of our team, he's sitting there behind me watching his movies because he's enriching himself every hour of the day. And all of a sudden he goes, Luke Wilson's wearing the wrong suit. I'm like, thank God for him, because it would have cost us a lot of money in visual effects to fix that.
Oh, yeah.
So he caught things. He's like on it. Yeah, he's taught me so many things. And, I'm a student next to him. I learn from him.
How do you keep your mind right creatively? Do you meditate or do anything like that?
I meditate a little bit. I swim. I play tennis. Those things help me. I read. I watch a lot. I walk the dogs. That's meditating.
You have dogs? Who are your dogs? Yeah, how many dogs do
I
you
have these beautiful dogs. I have several. I have these Australian shepherds. As a matter of fact, I did a movie that's out called Bandit Hound. It had a great cast of, there's a scene with Lou Ferrigno, the original Hulk, with Vern Troyer, Mini-Me. And my son Nicholas is in it, and Catherine Bell is in it. Catherine Bell just came and worked on this last movie that I did, Starstruck. I love Catherine. She was in it. Judd Nelson was in it. So a lot of people. It was a cute little bandit hound movie, and it had my dog in it.
I'm gonna have
My
to see
dog,
that
Blue
one.
Angel, was in it. Australian Shepherd, yes, and his brother was in it too, Evergreen, Blue Angel and Evergreen. They say don't make movies with dogs and kids, but I did that, and it came out really good. As a matter of fact, there was a bidding war in terms of distributing it. It came out really well. But how do we get on that? Because
Talked about dogs.
dogs.
But
Don't work with dogs, don't work with kids.
can you tell us about the Edgemar facility and how that is available to people, or how that grew?
Well, the Edgemar, I had a theater for 20 years
Yeah.
at the Edgemar location, but that is no longer, with COVID. It didn't stay. But we have a theater where we're at right now on Washington, a block from, Sony Studios. We're in Culver City, and we're loving our location. And we have the acting school, and we have the theater. And, after COVID, things changed. We used to, 20 years that we had the Edgemar Center for the Arts, we did a lot of theater. And of course, I think we're over COVID, obviously.
Yeah.
Although Zoom stuck, I think the Zoom habit stayed.
That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But it's hard to do theater in LA. It's the other thing. When people ask me, how do you raise money? It's the $1 million question. How do you do theater in LA? Especially with what happened. I think small theater
It's
kind of
changed a lot.
died a little bit.
Yeah.
It's changed because of the rulings, and it's not the same.
It's very difficult. Well,
Yeah, it was a great outlet for actors to be able to do theater, and very necessary.
they always say that
I
theater
was-
will rise again. No matter what happens, theater perseveres. Do you go
I
to
believe that
New
what
York a lot?
Broadway's-
Do you go to New York?
Oh yeah, yeah, and I see theater all the time. I see everything that I can. I'm going to see now Daniel Radcliffe, and in the one-man show, and I'm going to go see Dog Day Afternoon, and
They're doing a play of Dog Day Afternoon?
yes,
Nice.
with John Bernthal. Yeah, it'll be
Bernthal.
interesting to see that.
Yeah, I want to see that too.
Yeah, now I go to the theater all the time, here in LA, in New York, in London. We went to see Cynthia Erivo do Dracula, which played 26 different characters. Went to see another play, like their equivalent of off Broadway. And it's important to go support theater. It's important to go to the movie theaters to see movies. And it's important to support independent movie, and it's important to go to see theater.
Also, some of the most extraordinary theatrical, or I guess experiences on the whole that I've ever had have been theatrical productions. They're the
Which
most
one stuck with
impactful.
you? What's the Dreamgirls with Jennifer Hudson stuck with me, and Kathy Bates doing Night Mother really stuck with
yeah.
me. What stuck with you?
Brian Dennehy, I saw him do The
I saw
Iceman
that.
Cometh, which was amazing.
Oh yeah.
I saw a production of M. Butterfly at the Seattle Rep one time that just, at the end of the play, I was like shaking and crying. It was just such an impactful performance. Yeah, I can think of a lot of great
You see,
performances.
that's what theater does for you. That's right. It leaves you like that. It penetrates you to the core. It's not that movies can't do that. This year I was affected by 2 movies, Sentimental Value and The Secret Agent with Wagner Moura. I thought those were 2 extraordinary movies.
Yeah.
And I was definitely affected by them very deeply. But when you are there with another, however many people, sharing this communal experience, and you have this visceral reaction, and you're moved in that way, there's nothing like that. And it changes you as a
It
person.
does. Angels in America, I saw it here in LA
Oh,
when
yeah.
it was first
I
coming out.
saw. Me too. Me too.
That was something.
That was really powerful.
Kentucky
Yeah.
Cycle, I don't know if you remember that one, but that
Yes, I saw that one
was
too.
hugely
Yes.
powerful because it was so
Yeah.
immediate, and it
Yes.
illuminated so much about American history. Yeah.
That's right. There was that great production. Yes.
And if people aren't seeing theater, they're missing out on these kind of experiences that are communal, and
I agree.
you don't forget them,
I agree with you. Absolutely.
and they don't exist ever again. That's the other thing about it.
Yeah, well, unless they tape them. There was
Yeah.
a performance years ago with Janet McTeer. She did a Doll's House, Ibsen's A Doll's House, and they taped it. And so if you go to the Lincoln Center,
I
the
love that. The
Performing
Lincoln
Arts, the
Center.
library.
Yeah.
Yes, you put the earphones on. It's not the same thing, but you get to see Janet McTeer, do A Doll's House. And she would have never gotten cast as that 'cause she's the statuesque, very tall woman, and she played, the doll. And
I never
so
saw Burn This with John Malkovich, and I saw it in
I
that
saw
library.
it with the wig.
Did you?
Yeah,
With
that
the
was
wig.
great.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, great.
All right.
And you have, yeah, we could talk
We
for
could talk about
hours.
this forever. I'm not putting a kibosh on it, but I'm just like, so many things are coming into my head, from.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
Really
you
appreciate it,
very
Michelle.
much for having me. This was really a pleasure. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad. All right, we're going to dance it out. At the end, I play some music. We do a little dance and say goodbye to everybody. Thanks for being here, everyone in the chat room.
Thank you.
Please spread this
Bye,
around.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care.
We're gonna ride till we fall. They say we got no future at all. They wanna keep us out, can't hold us down anymore. Gonna ride till we fall.
When we hit the bottom, nothing's gonna stop us. Climb to the top with you. We could be the greatest ones who ever made it. Yeah, I could be talking you. They're trying to hate, but we won't change anything at all. Oh, we're gonna rise till we fall. They think we just dropouts.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. It's been Lunch Therapy with Michelle Danner.
They don't speak our language. They say we're too savage. Yeah, no, we don't give up anymore. We're gonna rise till we fall. We're gonna rise till we fall.
I have to hear this to the end.